where those who perceive truth may strive to make others see.
A big, powerful America, and shoot them for what?
On that continent, we are trying to forge a new identity for which we need each other.
Whether you're MAGA or a staunch Democrat, I think it's important that you realize our government has betrayed you. This idea of Elon being able to raid government agencies and gain access to personal data is it's a bipartisan problem. This guy literally has a history of being anti-union. He silences his critics, and literally had a grown man hissy fit over H-1B visas. Now, as corrupt as our government is, it at least has to do the dance to mask this corruption. And I think we're looking at a point where this is no longer true. This administration is being run by someone who is willing to accept bribes and literally scam his supporters. Our country is for sale. You should realize that your favorite podcasters and media personalities are very likely just staying in line. Your private information is in the hands of people who aren't even old enough to rent a car. The problem is that our elected officials and the people that we place in government, they've allowed this to happen as if they're helpless to do this, while this group of young people without background checks is able to gain access to your personal data information. And all the while, they're writing letters and threatening to sue people. And just to be clear, people have lost their jobs and have their livelihoods being completely uprooted by this particular act. And it's important to acknowledge that there is a lot of waste in our government, but this Elon is not looking to replace the USAID. He's not looking to replace the Department of Education. He's not looking to replace the EPA or the CFPB with better working alternatives, right? These are agencies that are simply in his way. And it's important that we realize this class, because we need to come to a class consciousness about this. When I say these agencies are in his way, I mean they are trying to protect people from corporations in a lot of different cases, right? Or at least in cases where there isn't significant, self-regulation already, right? So like these are, like I said, this isn't a hill I'm willing to die on in terms of these particular agencies and what they do and how they function. But when we talk about the elimination versus versus kind of constructing or engineering better alternatives, this is that's a clear-cut answer to where we want to do something. when it comes down to these particular agencies or nothing, that's also a clear-cut answer about what needs that, like what should be there, and if anything should be there or not. These people and these particular agencies, they are these employees particularly, who were employed by the government. I think when it comes down to people that have been very directly betrayed, I think they are kind of on the front lines of that. And of course, we're very near second when it comes down to that. The agencies, the people who so-called stand up and protect justice and things of that nature, this took place under their watch, right? There is no way to really put this to you other than the fact of your government, not Trump, not the Trump administration, your government as a whole has decided that this is not something that they are going to protect. And you need to understand that. You need to have that rooted and understand that as a general idea in terms of how we move forward now. Because one administration, the power in this particular democracy, quote unquote, is that one person wouldn't be able to do and destroy to this particular extent. Particularly one billionaire, right? When we think about America, one of the things that really makes America great is no matter your status or your wealth, I can tell you you're weird. you have a problem. I can tell you that, and I cannot have to worry about the consequences, because that's the idea in terms of the consequences, in terms of the actual governmental authorities being able to, or any type of authority figure being able to simply say you can't tell that person that. That's slowly not becoming the case. Or not slowly, that's very, 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 I would say very quickly becoming no longer the case. And we need to understand that and have that understanding. Now, this idea of moving and what you do at this particular point, I think you need to carry. It needs to be done in the spirit of this particular understanding. Your actions need to carry this understanding in terms of where you move and how you move in terms of the future. This, by all means, it looks like, for those that don't know, when a business is kind of at its end, it's they bring in these people who are quote unquote consultants who really they don't really know anything. They don't know anything about really how to run and create this and make this business a success. A lot of times they're just willing to, they're either intelligent about liquidating, or they're willing to allow the liquidation of this particular business to take place, and I think that's what we're looking at now. We are being moved, I think, very, very quickly into a lawless society, and I recommend that you reach out and connect with the people in your immediate surroundings, and try to create that semblance of community, a stronger community, because I do believe that's really what allows us to survive more than anything, and I believe that for a number of reasons. But in terms of this particular message, I think it's just important that we understand that what's real around us and start to connect with things that are real around us, and those things I think are going to have more tangible benefits than many of us can kind of see on the surface. And good luck.